What's up, my brother? Welcome to Trust Me Bro Fantasy Football. How you doing tonight?
Good, my brother. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah,
Good.
just
I'm coming to you from Nashville.
Nashville, Tennessee. I see.
That's
Okay,
right.
nice, man.
Yeah.
What's that in the
Yeah.
background? Is that a sign for a restaurant, Luke's?
Yeah. Luke's Honky Tonk or whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice, man. So you're right next door to it, huh?
Yeah, man. I'm right down on Broadway.
Okay, sweet, man.
So,
Nashville.
yeah.
Yeah, I've never been to
Pretty cool,
Nashville.
man.
I've only been to Memphis, and I think that's about it for Tennessee.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. It's what, Monday today?
Mm-hmm.
I was walking around at like 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
There was live bands everywhere.
Okay.
10 different bars I could walk in and see a live band
Really?
on
All
a
right.
Monday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was like, wow,
Mm-hmm.
interesting time to have a gig, but
Yeah.
there's plenty of people watching it, so
Mm-hmm.
it's happening, man. It's cool.
That's fantastic. Music City, brother.
That's right.
Nice. Well, cool, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're traveling all over the world this year, man. You went to Greece, and then you were in Chicago, now Nashville, huh?
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. This might wrap it up, man. Be back at home for the holidays.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, cool, brother. Very nice, man.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So how'd you do? So it's a
Cool.
pretty good game tonight, right? Did you get a chance to watch the game from Nashville?
I watched some of it. I watched the beginning of it, and then I watched some highlights.
Mm-hmm.
Watched my scores. So
Yeah.
Pat Mahomes got me what I needed, man. I
Mm-hmm.
needed just a little bit. Kind of like what he's been doing the last several weeks. So
Yep.
won by maybe 3 points in that league.
Okay. Yeah. Just squeaked
Yeah.
by then, huh?
Yeah, I was afraid Tucker Kraft might have, hung a few too many points on me, but Mahomes did his thing, brother. So
Nice. What?
hanging in strong. So I'm 6-2 in two leagues.
Mm-hmm.
Off and running, like my teams, look solid, getting better.
Nice.
My other team that is not off to a good start
Mm-hmm.
looks like it's coming together. So watch out for that one.
Yep.
And then
Good.
I got a doomed team, man.
Yep.
Can't get right team. So
Mm-hmm.
maybe I have to just write that one off and ride these, two or three maybe and see how I can do. How about you?
Yeah. Well, let's see. I went 3-1, so I won in three leagues.
Good.
I had to get some points from Rice tonight. I had a 19-point lead going in, and I had Rice, and the guy I was playing had Kelsey and Debo going tonight, and so Kelsey had a pretty good game, got himself a
Yeah.
touchdown, scored in the mid 20s, but Rice ended up coming through for me as well, and just kind of balanced that out. So ended up winning that matchup because Rice he had a good game. So all worked
Yeah.
out.
Nice.
But in
All help me out.
Yep, all good. But in the one that I did lose, it was basically, that's the one thing, Craig, that I can't always get right is start sit decisions. And I'm glad we don't have a start 'em sit 'em show. I'm glad we just talk about waivers and bring talent to the table. What people want
Yep.
to do with that talent is up to them because I'm not a great guy for ranking players or for start sit decisions because in the league I lost in. If I had started Justin Fields over Dak Prescott, if I had started Chase Brown over Judkins, and then if I had just somehow played R.J. Harvey, then I would have won that matchup. But who is to think that especially with Fields getting benched at halftime in the previous game, and then with
Yeah.
with Chase being suboptimal all season, it's one of those hindsight ones where I played the guys that had gotten me so far, got me good points so far this season, and those guys let me down. So it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, remember when we used to get out the bingo balls
Mm-hmm.
and try and go random and figure out like our
Confidence points.
confidence
Yeah,
points. Yeah,
totally.
exactly. It's kind of the same thing, man. Like how you going to do that? How you going to play Chase Brown when he's been
Mm-hmm.
not great all season long?
Yeah.
So yeah, when you actually play somebody like that, like I had Franklin in my lineup just out of
Mm-hmm.
necessity,
Nice.
and the dude went off. Yeah, so it's just sometimes you got to play him out of necessity. Sometimes you just get lucky. Sometimes you
Yep.
get unlucky.
Yeah,
It is
Franklin
what it
was
is.
the number one fantasy scoring tight end in fantasy. At least he was going into tonight's game. I don't know if Rice beat him. I don't think he did, but I think Franklin ended up being the guy throughout
Yeah,
fantasy this week. So yeah, that was great.
heck yeah.
Yep.
take a little bit of luck. Sometimes you need that. I don't think that actually got me a win either way. So
Right. Yeah.
doom teams, but
Yeah.
anyways,
Fun to see though.
yeah.
So
Yep.
you went what 2-2 this weekend
Two
or
and two.
2-2? Okay,
Yep. 2-2.
cool. And you got two 6-2 teams that you're feeling good about, right? Okay,
That's right.
nice. All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's hop on over to the waiver wire, brother, and take a look at some of
Yeah.
these guys that are out there. Let's see. Let me go ahead and get this thing going. Let me open this with picture
This
perfect.
sucker fired up. Let's see what we got. I feel like
Yep.
we've got some good stuff to talk about, man.
Yeah, I think so. We'll start with quarterbacks like we normally do,
Yeah.
and let's see who we got out there. Okay, so the first one
There you go.
that we got on the list is C.J. Stroud, the forgotten man from the Houston Texans. Looks like he had himself a hell of a ball game this past
Yeah.
weekend, man. Got 319 or 318 yards, threw for two touchdowns. Rushed 7 times for 30 yards. Just had himself a dynamite game. A lot of people were wondering why the Houston Texans were favored to win this game. Well, I think the Vegas odds makers must have saw this coming because he had
Yeah.
himself a hell of a game.
Yeah, he sure did, man. You look at this, and this is not bad. Like you'd be happy with this
Hmm.
out of your quarterback for the most part. Like, you know, hold the line there close to 20 points, and then bust out for 40 points, bust out for 32 almost.
Yep.
So like you're pretty happy with this out of your quarterback. So
Yeah.
especially in a two quarterback league, you can't ask for much more than that. So
Right.
yeah, man, like he had a sophomore slump.
Hmm.
He's got Denver coming up. It looks like Patrick Surtain's going to be possibly on IR.
That's right.
Jacksonville, Tennessee. So
Hmm.
Jackson Dart went 30 something points on Denver not just recently. I bet Dak had a pretty decent game against them too. So yeah, like I like his matchups coming up. I like the points he's putting up. Worth a shot here.
Yeah, only
I like him.
56% rostered. So if you're
Yep,
looking for a QB, if your starter's not performing, or if he's out on bye, or especially in these two QB leagues, this is a good one to pick up. C.J. Stroud.
that's right.
All right, let's move.
Go get him.
Yes, sir. Go get him. All right, let's move on to the next one. We got Justin Fields. I was just talking about Fields, and so
Yeah,
this is a guy that would have won me my matchup. So the way to own Justin Fields, Craig, is not to have him in a one QB league as your only quarterback. Okay, that's not the way to own Justin Fields. And so
yeah,
if you look at the green games on the schedule, the green games are good. The red games are bad. So if you have Justin Fields, you got to have another quarterback on your team, and you play
yeah,
him in the green games. If it's not a green game, stick him on the bench. Like for instance, we got Cleveland coming up next. That's not a good game. So the 30th in defense. So you're going to want to go with your regular quarterback against Cleveland, but you stick him in on the green games, and then you got yourself a fantasy starter.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it is, boom or bust with this guy. Look at that.
Yep. Yep, exactly. So matchup is what I'm trying to say. Matchup dependent.
Yeah,
So you got to play the matchups with this guy and pop him in those, but don't own him as your only quarterback and ride the highs and lows. That ain't the way to do it. And so
yeah, agreed. And honestly, man, if you look at it, it's pretty easy because these are defenses that we pick on outside of Philadelphia.
yep.
Or sorry, that's Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh defense looked terrible this last weekend too. So
Hmm.
like those low end defenses, you're right. It's a
Yep.
good call.
That's it. That's the way you play him.
All right.
So
Yeah,
if you're looking for a splash play, this is your guy.
agreed.
All right, let's move on to Sam Darnold. I think he'd be a good one. Only
Hmm.
36% rostered. I think his ownership went down a little bit, Craig. It went down 12% because he had a bye. And so, I think a lot of people, moved on to somebody else, during his bye. And so, but he's had some pretty dynamite games, man. He had a great game against Tampa, 41 points, 28 against Jacksonville. He struggled a little bit at Houston. Houston's got a really good D. But
Yeah,
he's got Washington coming up, and then him with Jackson to throw to. This guy's going to have himself a good game Sunday night.
yeah. I think I just heard that Houston's defense has not given up more than 16 points in a game this year.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they're
You
stingy,
know,
brother.
yeah, for sure, dude. watch out, for your quarterbacks against Houston's defense. But
Hmm.
yeah, bye coming up, Washington coming up. Like I like it. Eventually, somewhere he's got Dallas coming up. I'm sure too, right? If
Yeah.
he's playing NFC East, so
Hmm.
it's always a good one to start him on.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, Dallas, the Giants, maybe even Philly. I think he'll do. And then he's got the Redskins coming right up. But yeah, you're right. Those NFC East teams he'll be able to do just fine with.
yeah, you can do worse than Donald, man.
Yep.
Good call.
All right. Next up, we've got this is one of the ones that you wanted to talk about, Craig. JJ
Yeah,
McCarthy again,
yeah,
23% rostered. So
yep, yep. It looks like he's ready to come back. Looks like Wentz is done for the season.
yep.
But you look at this Detroit game coming up that easily could be a shootout, and then you got, like you said,
Green.
a couple green defenses coming up. So
Hmm.
I feel like if this dude's going to start catching on, which I mean he kind of did in the first game. Got hurt in that second game, so
Yeah.
definitely somebody to take a shot on.
Yeah, and I was a little surprised that the coach left Wentz in there, throughout the game
I
against
know.
was it the Chargers? You could tell he was clearly struggling. You could tell. I mean, that man was in immense pain, and
Hmm.
the coach probably should have taken him out of there. I think JJ was down to an emergency quarterback status, but at least thrown in that other quarterback and get that man out of the game. Man, he was in incredible pain.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, I'm sure he kept on going back to the sideline saying, "No, I'm good. I could do it. I
hmm,
could do it." But
yep,
at some point, you got to make a coach's decision and say, "Look,
yeah.
I don't know if you're helping us here, but
Hmm.
appreciate your passion, but
Yeah,
go ahead and take a seat." But
exactly.
yeah, man, I'm ready to see what JJ's got. Like this is you got a second half of a season here. Let's see if he's gonna be a true NFL quarterback, which I feel like he can be.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like the coach is going to be forced to ride or die with him because now with Wentz going on IR, he won't have Wentz as an option for the coach to pivot to. And so
Yeah,
I think that they're going to throw him into the fire, and he's going to or he's going to sink or swim. Let's put it that way. And so I think they've got no choice but to turn to him and see how it goes. I mean, you look at the Browns; they're starting that Gabriel guy, even though he's terrible. There's I think a couple of other quarterbacks out there that are just not doing performing well at all, but the coaches are sticking with. And so I think that he'll definitely be given a shot, and he'll it's his team from here on out. Is what I'm saying.
yep,
Yep. So let's see what we got. He's got some great weapons to throw too, with
that's for
Hawkinson,
sure, man.
JJ, and then Addison. So yeah,
Addison, yeah,
he's got
yeah, he's got good depth chart.
yep got the tools to succeed. In the one league where I did draft this guy, it was because I was looking to draft Addison, and I realized he had already been taken, and I was like, you know what? Well, who's throwing Addison? This guy, and he's also throwing to JJ, so that's why I picked him up.
Yeah, man, it's almost like when Cousins was there.
Hmm.
Like he had so many weapons, and it's hard to pick the receiver to get the ball. But you just went with Cousins because he was going to spread it around. So,
Yep.
but obviously he's got a couple real solid receivers you go with too.
Yes, exactly. So let's see what else we got. So
Yeah.
moving on to running backs,
Oh,
brother.
oh, look at this guy,
Tank, Tank
Tank.
Bigsby.
Yeah, man. When he got traded over to Philly, I was like, well, I bet his value's gonna be pretty low sitting behind Saquon. But
Hmm.
if he's got a hamstring injury, those things are potentially IR, man. Like those are potentially 4 week injuries. Like they're tough.
Yep.
It's really hard to come back from them. Hamstring injury.
Hmm.
If he comes back out next week and tests it, a good chance that thing pops again. Because
Right.
that's I don't know if you ever injured your hamstring, but boy,
Yeah, I have.
they're
Yeah.
they're hard. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, um, you got a buy coming up, so you don't have to. I don't think rush out there to the waiver wire to grab them, but um, maybe a couple tougher defenses. But I like Tank, man. I
Hmm.
think he was pretty decent on the Jaguars, and might be a good little show. I think he went for 100 yards on like
Yeah.
nine totes.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Incredible
yeah,
performance. Over 10 yards a
yeah,
carry.
hmm
So yeah, he looked good.
yeah, yeah.
All right.
Wanted to go out there and take a look at.
Only 17% owned Tank Bigsby. All
There
right.
he is.
Next up, we've got Samaje P. Ryan, right, brother?
Samaje Perine, that's right, man. He kind of had the same kind of efficiency, man. 9 for 94.
Hmm. There you go.
and a touchdown, and another grab for 6 yards. Yeah, you kind of mentioned Chase
Chase
Brown's
Brown.
struggles, and Chase, yeah, he kind of went off a little bit this week, but
Hmm.
so did Samaje, and
Yeah.
I feel like that's what the Bengals have to do at this point. Like they got to get everybody involved. They got to get Flacco that ball out of Flacco's hands
Hmm.
as quick as possible. Both P Ryan and Chase Brown are good at catching the ball and running. So,
Yep.
I imagine a little bit more of a running back by committee here. And so he's kind of like your David Montgomery to
Hmm.
Gibbs
Yes.
type of guy,
Yes. Exactly.
type of play. So both could be efficient running backs and put some points up for you, especially if you've been one of those guys like me that's been struggling with this Trevion Henderson or the Krosky, whatever his name is,
Middle.
Krosky Merritt,
Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, these guys are just struggle bus, maybe get you 2 or 3 points and you're just like, dude, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
I think the second half of the season might look a little bit better for P. Ryan. He's always been pretty decent. He's been a damn good fill-in.
Hmm.
He returns kickoffs too, so if you got him in one of those, rewarding leagues where they reward kickoffs, it might be a good one for you.
Yeah, agreed. We've seen him be successful in the past when he was running as the backfield mate with Joe Mixon, and
Yep.
they've got the Chicago Bears coming up next that doesn't have exactly a good run D. So I think both Chase Brown and P Ryan can eat against the Bears.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. Next up, we've got R.J. Harvey. This is somebody that I mentioned briefly at the top of the show. So he is the rookie running back for the Broncos, and so the coaches like him. They drafted him. He's a solid guy. Sean Payton loves him some Harvey, and so
Yeah.
he also had a tremendous success. Only 7 carries for 46 yards and 2 touchdowns, and caught one for 5 yards and another touchdown. So scored 3 touchdowns, and that was against the Cowboys' atrocious run defense. And it wasn't even necessarily in garbage time. It was just them, having so many carries to go around that they got him involved. And so they also got him involved against Cincinnati, which is another terrible run defense back on in week 4. And so he got, I
Yeah.
think it was almost 20 points back then, and then scored 25 yesterday. So he's somebody to keep in mind. You may or may not start him. If you have a terrible week where all your guys are on bye and you need somebody just to throw in, then he might be able to carry the rock for you. But he's definitely a good one to have. If something happens to J.K. Dobbins, then R.J. Harvey's gonna be
Yeah.
a league winner for you.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. Dobbins out there and he's looking pretty good too. Like
Hmm.
this offense is moving the ball.
Yep.
But I like what I see out of Harvey, man. I agree, dude. He's definitely in the mix. As a rookie,
Yep.
sometimes it is that second half of the season where they really just kind of take off and find their own,
Yeah.
really kind of start stealing the show a little bit more. So, definitely want to look at. Looks like he's pretty heavily taken in Yahoo. I don't know how he is
76%.
in
Yeah.
ESPN.
Yeah.
Is it 76 or is it
Uh-huh.
70? Yeah,
76.
yeah,
Yeah. So yeah, pretty high rostered. I just put him up there because he's a backup, and he might end up being a league winner if you do
yep,
happen to find him out there in the 24% of leagues that he's available. But like you said, Craig, rookies tend to come on after the bye week. After they have a
yep,
bye, and the coach kind of wants to see what they got in some of the other players. He may get some more run.
yeah,
So.
yep,
All right, let's see who else is out there. This is a name that you and I were texting about last night during
yeah,
the Packer game, Emmanuel Wilson. So looking pretty good. Only had 11 attempts for 61 yards and caught 3 out of 4 targets for 26. So he had about 87 yards on in total, all-purpose yards, and so he looked good when he had the ball in his hands. Passed the eye test.
yeah. He really did, man. He passed the eye test. Again, a couple weaker defenses. Dallas, you could see he scored double digits, and then
Hmm.
Pittsburgh, but nothing amazing. But you kind of handcuffing Jacobs with him.
Yep.
And if Jacobs goes down, he's obviously the next guy up.
Yes.
Um, so may not be much of a starter outside of some really crappy defenses, ones that might get away from. Green Bay may get a pretty strong lead in, or or a situation where Jacobs goes down.
Yeah.
But definitely good handcuff.
Yeah, there was a bit of a scare on Jacobs a couple of weeks ago. I think, like, coming right down to game time, people weren't sure if he was going to play or
Yeah,
not. So, yeah, if you happen to see that Jacobs is out one week, go ahead and grab Wilson, and you'll have yourself a plug and play running back.
yeah,
O-
that's for
Only
sure.
5% rostered. All right, let's move on to Tyrone Tracy, brother.
Yeah,
49%
yep.
rostered.
I hate that he's on here. To be honest with you, man,
Yeah.
I hate that he's on here because I
Hmm.
really like Scattaboo.
Me too.
I really liked him, dude, and I hated seeing his foot on sideways, dude. That was, ugh,
Yeah.
that's tough, dude.
Hmm.
That was brutal. But he's definitely done for the year. So yeah, this is your guy.
Yep. Yeah, this is it. This is the guy. He looked pretty solid
Yeah,
last year. I had him in at least one fantasy league. I think my neighborhood league last year, and he did pretty good for me last year. He was a pretty solid running back as a rookie last year. So this is his second year, and with Scattaboo being down for the season, they're turning the keys over to Tyrone Tracy. They have single digit Singletary still lurking around
that's true.
the locker room for the
Yeah.
Giants, but I'm not scared of single digit. I think a double
No,
digit
he
Tyrone.
earns his. Yeah, he earns his nickname, man.
Yep. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, this guy was like you said was good last year.
Hmm.
I would expect. He's got another game against Dallas somewhere down there. He's got Chicago coming up.
Hmm.
San Francisco's been pretty beat up. So yeah, man, I can see him definitely putting up your 15 points or so
Yep. Yeah.
with a lot more time share.
Yeah. Exactly. And now that the Giants have a more exciting offense with Dart leading it, I think that they'll be able to move the ball, and he should have success. So, out there in more than half the leagues. So if you got that number one waiver wire pick, I don't know if I'd use it on him. I mean, if I was really hurting for running backs, I would. I've got that number one waiver priority in one of my leagues, but I've got Henry, and I've got the J.K. Dobbins, and I've also got C-Mac, Christian McCaffrey. So I'm already loaded at running back.
Yeah,
So I don't see myself, pulling the trigger on burning my number one waiver wire priority on him. But if I needed a running back, I would. So,
yeah, agreed. Yeah, I probably wouldn't either.
hmm but I'll put him in. I'll put in claims for him in my other leagues. That I'm not number one priority, and just see if I get lucky.
Yeah, see if some people are snoozing out there.
Yep. All
They
right.
do that.
Yeah, they do that. So let's talk about wide receivers, brother. You mentioned him at the top of the show. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, tell me about your boy Franklin. I think you picked him up after week 2, right, when he had his last big get out.
yeah, I did, man. I've been, pretty disappointed with him
Hmm.
for the several weeks after that. He found a nice spot on my bench, but the thing is, he still gets his targets. Like if you kind of look down the targets there,
Hmm.
he's still getting looks.
Yeah.
He had 8 targets, got 4 of those. He had 5 targets, got 3 of those.
Hmm.
And then he had 10 against the Giants, and then he had 8. So he's been his last couple games been a lot more productive with it. And I
Yes.
think it's just kind of that evolution of Nix and him kind of getting on the same page, and
Hmm.
you still have Cortland Sutton out there, but sometimes Sutton gets covered up, and he's kind of the next option. Him and Ingram, it's really between those guys. So
Yeah.
um, yeah, I mean, I was definitely pleased with him this last week.
Yep. I
You
read
know,
somewhere recently, within the past 24 hours, that the Dallas defense, their game plan was to eliminate Sutton. And so they, they,
yeah,
they they decided to take away Sutton, kind of like how Bill Belichick used to take away your best player,
yeah,
right? And so
yep,
that's what the Cowboys were doing. And so they tried to remove Sutton from the equation, and that left Franklin out there. And so he capitalized.
yeah,
So.
sure did, man. And that same thing could happen kind of for the rest of the season.
Mhm.
And that's what a lot of teams should be doing.
37% rostered, so he's out there in a ton of leagues. So if you need a wide receiver, he's got Houston coming up, which is a tough draw. But then
It
after
is.
after that, he's got Vegas, and so I don't know if I'd roll with him against Houston, but I it definitely wheels up against Vegas.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep.
Agreed.
All right. Next up, we got Roman Wilson, and so this is just a name to keep an eye on. I don't know if
Yeah.
you really even want to go, draft him or pick him up off the waiver wire quite yet, but definitely a name to know. He had a good game against Green Bay, caught 4 out of 5 targets for 74 yards and a touchdown. He's 0% rostered, so not even his mom has him on her fantasy squad. So yeah, nobody has him at all. He
Even
reason
he doesn't have
Yeah,
him.
even he doesn't have him on his own fantasy team.
Yeah.
So he, but I remember watching his college tape just because I was going back and looking at some of the JJ McCarthy highlight reels from when they won the national championship. So he played with JJ McCarthy at
Okay.
Michigan, and then all those great passes I was seeing JJ McCarthy make were going to him, and so he was catching
Really?
all of them. And they had
Okay.
they had Loveland on the team, and they had I forget who their running back was, but anyway, they ended up winning the national championship that year, and this was JJ McCarthy's guy.
Was
So
it Corum? Blake Corum,
yes,
maybe?
Blank Corum, that's
Yeah,
right.
probably
Yeah,
was.
that was their guy.
Yeah, dude, this guy showed up. I think you and I both saw the same thing last night. It was
Hmm.
like, wow, who's this number 10 dude?
Yep.
Like he seems to be catching a few nice balls. So,
Hmm.
um, yeah, I agree. Keep your eye on him. If him and
Rogers.
Rogers become friends, yeah, then
Hmm.
he could have a better second half of the season.
Yeah, yeah. Let's
You know,
see.
outside of DK, I don't know who else you really got.
Yeah, I'm really nobody. There is somebody
Yeah,
as a number two, but I can't remember his name right now. Neither can you. So he definitely isn't anything special.
yeah,
Yep. All right. So next up, we've got the booty.
yeah,
So
man. Yeah,
yeah,
this is a good one.
yeah.
He's been on a good run.
40% rostered. I keep waiting for the bottom to fall out, but
I know.
he just keeps rolling, man. He's got 4 touchdowns in the last 3 games. He just keeps seeing the looks and keeps catching the balls and scoring the tutties, man. So he's doing great.
I mean, the way Drake May's playing,
Hmm.
just get one of those receivers. Like this seems to be the
Yeah,
probably the number one guy. Like
exactly.
there's Douglas is out there, and they have
Diggs.
Diggs, but
Hmm.
Diggs ain't doing a whole lot. Like this guy's
Right.
probably doing more than Diggs is doing these last 3 games.
Yeah,
So uh,
exactly. He's
yeah,
scoring the touchdowns. So
that's right.
yeah.
That's right.
Hmm.
Give him a roll. The targets aren't quite there, which I think is probably why he's still only 40% owned. You're still waiting for that bottom to fall out.
Hmm.
He's just not. He's not getting that 10, 15 targets a game,
Right.
but he's doing the most with them right now.
Yeah, exactly. And you may not. The bottom probably will fall out against Atlanta unless they have another crap game like they had yesterday. I know Atlanta got boat raced by somebody. I forget who it was, but yeah, they didn't look good at all. And so, but I think against Tampa, that could be a shootout. Um, with New England and Tampa, in week
Yeah,
10. That might be the
yeah.
week to start to get you some booty. Only 40% rostered.
Always looking to get some booty.
Yep. Go get you some
Uh,
booty. Yep. All right. Next up, talk to me about Xavier Hutchinson, brother.
yeah, man. X finally showed up, dude. I guess the last 2 out of 3 games he's looked better, but um, another one of those situations. Like this, Nico Collins was out,
Hmm.
so some people had to pick up the slack. He was one of them,
Yeah.
but watching that game, he got a lot of looks, man. Like he looks like he got 6 targets, but it just seemed like every time I looked up, he was the one either getting targeted or scoring a touchdown or making the catch. So,
Yep.
um, they need some people to step up. Like that one year Tank Dell really stepped up and became the dude.
Hmm.
But outside of Nico, like they kind of just have a spare receiving core. So looking for somebody to step up here. Looks like he is going to be the man for the job.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know enough about the Texans wide receiver core. I picked Noel and I rolled the dice with him. I wasn't terribly disappointed. I think he got me 12 fantasy points, and so I very well could have picked up Hutchinson, but I didn't know which one to roll the dice on. But I went with Noel. Got me 12. I could have gone with this guy and gotten 17. Would have been a little nicer, but I ended up winning that matchup
Yeah,
anyway, so all good.
nice. I mean, they got Brandon Cooks out there too.
Yeah.
Brandon Cooks seems to be just what Brandon Cooks is. He is what he is.
No,
He's
wait,
a
no,
number
wait.
three.
No, no, no. I think you're thinking no, because Cooks is in. He's with the Saints. Are you thinking of Kirk?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
Kirk.
Kirk.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. You're right. You're right.
Mhm.
You're right. You're right. Yep.
Yeah. So that's what I'm
Yep.
trying to figure out because I know that they got Kirk and then they've got their number one. What's his name? You just said it.
Nico.
Nico.
Nico
Yeah,
Collins.
Nico
Yep.
Collins.
Yep.
And so when those two are back, is Xavier Hutchinson? Is he the number three?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So this guy will
Yeah.
have staying power instead of Noel, right? This would be the
Yeah.
guy if you're looking to pick up a Texan.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think that's right. Yep.
got it. Okay, yeah, it makes sense. Only 1% rostered, so him and his mom, maybe a couple friends from college, got him on the rosters. Okay,
Yeah. I hope Stroud has him on his roster.
yeah, me too.
That'd be the most important one.
Yes, exactly. Stroud wants some fantasy points, so he's going to hit
That's
them.
right.
Hit
Yep.
X. All right. All right. Next up, we got the Dyke. And so I did,
I know, man.
man. I'd never heard of this Dyke until somebody was playing him against me last week,
Yeah.
and this Dyke ended up scoring about 20 in that league, and I was thinking to myself, who is this Dyke? And so here he is. He ended up scoring 16 fantasy points 2 weeks in a row. So I don't know. We got to talk about him.
Yeah, man. I guess he just introduced himself to Cameron Ward, and
Hmm.
they got on the same page. But
Yep.
I know, man. I really felt like this is one of those where it has a kind of a come out game, and
Hmm.
whatever, people go to the waiver wire and they grab him, and then they play him, and then he has 1 point. And
Yeah.
they're like, all right, F this dude. They throw him back on the waiver wire.
Hmm.
2 games in a row.
Here you go.
But let's see. Let's see what happens. He's got some tougher matchups coming up, but
Yeah.
um, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Like, who's the guy that I'm trying to think of?
Cam Ward. That's their quarterback, right?
Well, that's a quarterback. Who's the receiver that came over
Oh.
from Atlanta that
Oh
was
yeah.
suspended for betting?
Right. Right. I can't think of his
That
name either, but
guy.
yeah, that dude.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that dude. I think he's still there, but
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
can't remember the guy's name. So obviously he's not that good.
Mm-mm.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, I don't know. Other than that, I still know what else they have as far as receiving core. So
Yeah, they had that like
uh,
Araboro or something, some name I can't
yeah, that's
pronounce.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, people rolling with him. Yeah, and he's
Yeah.
doing okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just not an exciting offense, man.
No,
Like
not
that,
at all.
there's just not there's not much to like there. Like
Mm-mm.
Tony Pollard's been crappy. Spears has come back and he's been,
Yeah.
so there's just not much to like about that whole offense. But
Yeah.
I guess this guy's doing a little bit, doing something with it.
I mean, they're going to be down bad because their defense sucks.
True.
They're going
Yeah.
to be throwing a lot because their running game can't get on track, and so with a bad defense, no running game, they're going to be forced into a lot of garbage time. So this might be your Dyke. So
Get you a Dyke, man.
yeah, get you a Dyke, 8%.
Uh, yeah.
All right, next up, Christian Watson. So, passed the eye test. We were both looking at him and texting about him last
Yeah.
night. He caught
Yeah.
very efficient. Caught all 4 targets,
Yeah.
85 yards. So, looking solid.
Man, I just got to say, I think that Pittsburgh defense looked like they were trying to throw the game. Like, I just don't understand it, dude.
Hmm.
That one ball that homeboy threw up there, Love threw up to Watson. The deep bomb caught it on like the 5 yard line.
Yeah.
Well, I watched every replay of that like 3 or 4 times.
Hmm.
That defender looked like he was so clueless, just jumping in the middle of like he didn't even want to try, like he was faking
Right.
it. So, I just have a hard time with these Green Bay receivers, man. I just don't know who's gonna show up each week, But
Yeah.
like we were texting them, man. Maybe he steps in. He's the number one. Number ones have to get that 10 targets a game.
Yes.
Like that's it. That makes you a number one. So I think let's give it a few weeks and see. But
Agreed.
definitely want to look out for, man. Like he's gonna get he's gonna get it, and
Yeah.
he scores touchdowns. Like he's been productive in the past.
Only
So
16% rostered, so he's out there in the vast majority of leagues.
yeah. So if it's super struggle out there, he's not a bad one to add on to your roster. That's for sure.
Yeah, I thought about it. I ended up going Noel, instead, or no, you know what? I'm sorry. He was in a different league. I ended up going with who's that guy? Bourne. I ended up sticking with Bourne.
Yeah.
He didn't do
Yeah.
crap, and so I probably should have just
Yeah.
dropped Bourne and gone with Watson. I would have gotten more fantasy points. Ended up winning that league anyway, but You know,
Yeah.
yeah. I just didn't know if he was going to be on a snap count or what. It looks like he kind of was. You know, if he only caught four out of four targets. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah. So
But
against Carolina, that might not be the best. Not that Carolina's got a good defense or anything, but it looks like people just run on them is what it looks like, and so I think that's why
yeah,
there's not a ton of passing going on there because people just run the hell out of the ball on them.
yeah, they get up by 20 and then just run the ball and run the
Yep.
clock. Yeah,
Yeah.
yep.
Exactly. So all right. Let's see what else we got. Let's move on to tight ends, brother. I think we can
Woo.
only find one, right? We were looking for Gadsden.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, what's he on in 61%?
Mm-hmm.
You know, dude, he was out there for me, man. I could have just grabbed him, but I felt like I was sitting pretty
Yeah.
on tight ends, and then Ferguson throws me a freaking bagel.
Right. Me
Would
too.
sure like to have Gadsden in there. Yeah, dude, this guy looks good, man.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I got Herbert as my quarterback in one of my leagues, and
Mm-hmm.
I like this guy for him. Like he looks like
Yeah.
just a big receiver. Looks like um, Megatron out there,
Right.
dude.
He's like 6'4", isn't he?
Yeah, he's huge. He catches the ball and moves well. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is a good one, dude. I expect to see double digits the rest of the year on this guy.
Yeah.
I'll be shocked if it's much less than that.
Yeah, I'm pissed off at myself for not grabbing him. He was right out there. I wouldn't have even had to use a waiver priority on him. I could have just grabbed
Yeah,
him for free, but
yeah,
I missed the boat. In all four of my leagues, he's taken now, and so I should have done it, man. I ended up going with Mandrews and sticking with him. He got me 8 fantasy points. I could have gotten Gadsden and gotten 19. So yeah.
yeah. Like this dude is like a one you can even throw in your flex.
Mm-hmm.
Just play two tight ends.
Yep.
So
Exactly. Yeah, you snooze, you lose, and I snoozed and I lost, man, on him.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's the way fantasy football goes, brother.
yeah. So yeah, I missed the boat, brother. But yeah, he
Yeah.
looks good. Wish I could have got him.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if we got any more tight ends. Yeah, we got one more. Evan Ingram. Talk to me, brother.
Yeah, yeah. This is kind of a leftover, a holdover, but
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, not near as attractive as that
Gadsden. Yeah.
Gadsden.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. He's got some tough matchups coming up, but I've always liked Evan Ingram, man. He's always been a high target guy, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like at some point he's gonna have to have a breakout game in Denver.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Exactly.
can't call win.
Right.
Probably not this Houston game.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably not coming right up. But Las Vegas doesn't necessarily have a good defense, and
True.
KC's got a hell of a defense though. So yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. But yeah, maybe you stash them for Vegas, or if you really need a tight end, there's nothing else out there, and you just got to have somebody to fill that position. Go for it.
Yep.
58% rostered, so he's out there. All right, I think that let's move off tight ends. Let's go to defenses, brother. So we're just like all season. We're teeing off on the Tennessee
Yep.
Titans. Right there where
As we
you are
should.
in Nashville. That's their
Yeah.
city, right?
Yep.
You're in
Yep.
Titans land, aren't you?
Yeah. They're building that new stadium, man, and it's about a mile away from where I'm sitting right now, man. I saw that
Nice.
on the way in.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet. Looks like they'll be playing host to the Chargers defense. They're going to come into town and stomp the smack out of them. So,
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good play, man.
hmm
The way the Patriots lit up on them a couple weeks ago, like that's a good defense or offensive tee off on with the defense.
yep,
So yeah, I like that Chargers play.
yeah,
Get
only
it, brother.
60.
Looks like it's rostered by the Ballers too,
Yeah,
huh?
I got him. Yeah,
How
so
about that?
I went ahead and picked him up, and because I was able to throw, who was it? Well, one of my players, I was able to throw him on IR. I think it was.
Yeah.
I don't know, I forget. But anyway, somebody got marked out at the last minute, so I threw him on IR and grabbed my defense, in anticipation of next week. So
There you go.
got him ready to rock. Speaking of LA, so back at their stadium in Los Angeles, the Rams will be playing host to the lowly Saints, and so man, I,
Yeah,
I played the Bucks D against the Saints. Oh my God, Craig, they
I did
tore
too.
it up. Got me
Yeah.
27 fantasy points. I mean, because I went back and looked at Baker Mayfield scoring, and then I went and looked at the running back White scoring, and I was like, who the hell scored all these points? But it was them. It was the
Yeah.
Bucks D.
Was that pick six by that DTN, man? Like that
Hmm.
helped.
Yep.
Um, yeah, but dude, I mean, look at this, man. Only one game they scored less than double digits.
Yeah, they're
Um,
solid, brother.
I think they just added a cornerback as well from was it Tennessee?
I think so. Yeah, I think I saw
Yeah,
that. Hmm.
yeah. So they're just getting a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah. And so yeah, they're ready to tee off on on the Saints. So yeah, this is a good defense, brother.
Yeah, good streamer.
Yep, good streamer. Let's see what else we got. Jacksonville. I went and picked them up in another league, in advance of their next showing. They've got Vegas. They're going to Vegas. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Vegas has been unimpressive, man.
Hmm.
I like it. I think it's a good play. The Jacksonville defense has been pretty strong. Look at that, man. They
Yep.
only a couple games where they've been one of them against the Rams. That was a tough one. That was on the road
Yeah.
over the pond.
Hmm. And
You
then
know.
KC were the only two games that they kind of, and they didn't even do that bad at KC. They at least got 9. But yeah,
Yeah,
all the other games double digit. They've been looking solid.
yeah.
So
I mean, that's why they have a winning record.
mhm.
You know, it's not because of that offense.
Yeah, yeah, and look at that. They were able to score 21 against Houston. A rival within their division, and so
Yep.
I might play them. Vegas and Houston. It might be a 2-for-1 special here if you can't find anything else in Week 10.
Yeah, not a bad call. I like it, brother.
Yep. All right. Let's see if we got any other defenses. Let's see. I think we got one more. The Packers. And so this one they're playing Carolina. Man, Carolina just looked terrible the other game. Man,
Yeah.
with the red rifle out there, man, he looks cooked. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm
He's not look
yeah,
good. So I agree, brother. You
yep,
know, if nothing else, you probably get about 5 sacks or 6 sacks. It
yeah.
looks like that 6 sacks 2 weeks ago.
Uh
So
huh.
I would
Exactly.
expect the same.
Yep. So yeah, Mika Parsons will be introducing the red rifle to the grass. So
Yeah.
yep. All right, that's it for streaming defenses. Let's move on over to some kickers. Eddie's still rocking and rolling, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
He.
mean, could ask for a little bit more on that last one, but
Yeah, yeah.
other than that,
Man, Houston D just came to play. Man, they stomped the Niners, but I think he'll get back on track
yep.
against the Giants. So
Yeah.
yeah, I expect double-digit points from him. Get back on track.
I think Purdy should be back.
Hmm.
So, maybe they'll kind of get things back. Yeah, I agree. So
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, Eddie's
I like
been
it.
good. And then Sly, just like we talked about, brother, he's feast or famine. So it looks like he just got through with a famine against
Yeah.
Indy. So he's got the Chargers coming up. So we'll see.
Yeah, I honestly feel like this is a hold on
Hmm.
from last week.
Yeah.
You know, I probably wouldn't play him against the Chargers, man. So,
Okay.
honestly, I was liking the Sly guy, but I've played him a couple of these really crappy games he's had.
Hmm. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
it's tough to call, man. Like I said, man, the Tennessee offense is just awful.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So we'll stop
Yeah.
sharing that. And then let's talk a little bit about some of the players that were great. So we've gone through 8 weeks of football. So we got
Yep.
week 9 coming up, brother. And I want to
Yep.
chat with you a little bit about who we're glad we drafted. And so I know we can talk about guys we picked up off the waiver wire and all that, but I want to talk about who are we glad that we actually drafted. That that we decided to make a call and pick up in the actual draft, and guys that we're
Yep.
happy with. And so let's share out and talk about guys we're happy that we drafted. Let's see who we got. Let's see. Here we go. So our first one is Dak Prescott. So I'm happy that I drafted Dak. I've got him in one of my leagues. Ended up getting him a little later in the draft. I think he was like either seventh, eighth, ninth, something like that. It definitely wasn't in the top six. Either maybe even the 10th round. I forget, but it was a later pick. Happy with Dak. He's been, I think, one of the top fantasy quarterbacks so far this season. He's right up there in the top, 3, maybe top 5. But he's been scoring some good fantasy points, brother. Because that defense just sucks so bad that they are forced into throwing, and
Yeah.
just to keep up with whoever they're playing.
Yeah. Dude, I mean, he's always been a solid regular season fantasy quarterback.
Yep.
So, yeah, lot
Yeah.
to be happy about, man.
Yep.
I agree. Wish I
Exactly.
had him in a couple.
Yeah. Yeah. So Dak, I'm happy with. Let's see who else we got. Josh Allen. I'm
Of
happy.
course.
I'm happy I drafted him. I ended up
Yep.
drafting him, I think, like first overall in that in that super flex league we got where we play two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I'm probably a little bit too aggressive. I probably should have just gone running back, running back. Like in hindsight, obviously I wish I would have gotten JT. Uh, and then maybe you know CMAC or something like that, and then just try to
Right.
pick up another quarterback later. But I think that this guy
Yeah.
will end up paying off, long term throughout the season. So
Yeah. I mean, you just come to expect 25 points from him. You
yep,
know,
yeah, that's his
that,
floor.
that's kind of his floor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like you put that in your lineup, put a few other good pieces around him, you got a pretty good team.
Yes, exactly. So
Yep.
he's got the Chiefs coming up, which is a pretty tough defense, but it's a home game. Those two could be a shootout. I know we say that a lot for these Chiefs games, and they don't end up being shootouts. They end up being kind of one sided, like the way it was tonight. But the way that Josh Allen and with the way that he plays against Pat Mahomes, I think they ended up changing some of the rules, because of the two of them. I think that they're the ones that they changed that overtime rule, in the playoffs because of him, because they wanted to give
Yeah.
him a chance to answer. So
Yep.
yeah, could be a good game. But then he's got Miami, Tampa. Tampa will be a potential shootout. So this guy's got some good games coming up. Always fun to
Oh yeah.
watch.
Yep.
All right,
Yep.
and
Of
so
course.
this is one of your guys, brother. Tell me,
Yeah.
happy
Yeah,
about
man.
that?
I mean, very, very similar. Like this guy's been just absolutely killing it. I wish I would have got 36 in my league. Oh wait, no, they don't have Washington score up tonight. That's right. You did a little early. Yeah, I think he got 27 points tonight. So,
Yeah,
dude, I mean, last year I had him on a squad or two and was not as happy. So this year he's leading the NFL in touchdown passes. He's back on track, dude. He's killing it.
yeah, yeah. I think
Love
that
it.
we've had a couple down seasons with Pat, for the past two or
Yeah.
3 years, but it looks like he's back to being that, hero, backyard, slinging the rock. So he looks good.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yep.
fantastic quarterback. Yeah, and I think you probably drafted him what in like at least the fifth or sixth round, right? You probably got him a little later.
Yeah, yeah, man. I got him later. Like people were not high on him, so I was like, I'll take that. I'll hope for the best, and here we go. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah. You ended up hitting on that pig, brother.
Yep.
All right, and then you also got a Herbie guy. You're a fan of him too, huh?
Yeah, man. I mean, look, he's been killing it for me. This is a league where I kept Lamar Jackson. And this Herbert was gonna be my number two quarterback. You play two quarterbacks in that league, and he was gonna be my number two, and he's just slotted right into that number one. And I've had to kind of fill the other spot, but so far so good. But once Lamar gets back and really gets on track, this is gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, yeah. He's a solid quarterback, man. It seems like the way their defense has been playing, he's kind of in a position similar to Dak, where he's got to throw it a lot. So
Yeah, and his running game went downhill too. Like they started off with Harris and Marion Hampton, and both of them went down with injury. So
yeah,
he's just trying to. He's gone to where they got to go to a passing attack. So
yep. Solid
and
quarterback.
he seems to be doing just fine with it.
Oh yeah,
His
yeah.
rushing yards are ridiculous too, man. Like
60
62
yards.
rushing yards. Yeah,
Yes, yes. He kind of looks like Dexter's son Harrison, doesn't he? From that
yeah, a little
show.
bit. Yeah, it's funny.
Yep. So
Yeah, but pleased with him.
yeah, Herbie's good. All right, so you're happy with him, and then moving on to running backs. I'm happy that I drafted Christian McCaffrey. Ended up grabbing him. I think right at the turn. I think I had a 12th pick in one of these 12-man leagues. Ended up picking Christian McCaffrey. Right at the turn, I ended up picking Christian McCaffrey and Henry. I went big time on running backs, back to back on
Yeah,
my first two picks, and so been happy with Christian McCaffrey. He had himself a dud yesterday, a rare dud. You don't really see duds out of him this season. 25 had been his floor throughout the season, but put up a rare dud against the mighty Texan D. But I see him getting back on track.
yeah. Yeah, he for sure will, man. That's what you want, dude. You want a guy that can get you 20 points every week.
Yep, that's it. So
Yeah,
yeah, he's matchup proof. The way I see it. I mean,
yeah,
I don't think that there's going to be any more duds like against Houston. I think he'll be fine, even against the Rams. I mean, look at that. Already on the road against the Rams, he scored almost 28. So I can see him doing
yeah.
something similar at home on Week 10 too.
I agree, brother.
Yep.
Good stuff.
The only thing that will stop him is injury. So hopefully he won't get hurt. So
Yep.
all right, talk to me about A-Chain, brother. You still loving him, right? Looking
Yeah,
good.
man. He's been good. He's one of those I kind of got on the turn as well, and I've been happy with him. He's been, that solid 15 to 20 plus every week. So,
Yep.
one of those kind of set and forget.
Yeah.
It's hard to do that sometimes at the running back position.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I would say him and Christian McCaffrey and JT, are right in that class of guys you can just sit and forget.
Yep.
I think like maybe last season or the season before he was kind of more volatile, where you would have those single digit games mixed in here and there, but not this
Right.
season, man. It looks like I think 16 or 13 was his lowest game, but it's been high teens, 20s every week, even a couple
Yep.
of 30, out in there against the
Yeah.
Chargers, right?
That's right.
So solid running back, brother. Love it.
Yep.
All right, I got Judkins. I'm happy I drafted him, even though he turned in a stinker, against the Patriots defense. The reason why I'm happy with him is because I got him so late. I ended up getting him in 10th round in one of my leagues, and just super late in the draft. But man, he's really turned it on. Did great against Miami, had 3 touchdowns. Put
Yep.
up 21 against Detroit's defense, and so he's a good hard runner. Ended up hurting his shoulder, but it doesn't look like it's anything too crazy. His AC joint, and so he got the bye coming up. I'm hopeful that he'll be able to come back without any restrictions and be ready to rock against the Jets D and then the Ravens D. So he's got a pretty favorable schedule coming up. So I think he's going to be fantasy goodness, moving forward.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, he's a good one. He's
Yep.
one that, by the time he got on everybody's radar, he was gone in all my leagues.
Yeah.
So missed the boat on the Judkins.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a good running back. 94% rostered, so he's out. Pretty. The secret's out. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
All right.
Imagine if he was on a good team.
Yeah, I know,
Damn, that'd
right?
be.
So
Yeah, this
Puka.
one too, man. Yeah, solid,
Yep. Super happy
solid.
about him, man. I ended up grabbing him in one of my leagues, and couldn't be happier. He's just been phenomenal, man, as advertised. Before he got hurt, he was the number one wide receiver throughout the league, hands down.
Yeah,
So
I mean, look at that, dude. That's what I was talking about. 10 plus targets every game. That makes you a number one receiver,
yes, yes,
on the team. And
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, mid 20s is his floor, and then he can pop off for 36, like he did that one time. So
yep,
very good. Matchup proof.
that's right.
Happy about Puka. JSN. This is on both of our lists, brother. So
Yeah,
super
well, there
happy
we
about
go.
Jackson, brother.
Yeah,
Man,
man.
incredible.
Yep, old Rockwall guy.
Yep.
Um, yeah, he's been tearing it up, dude. Finding the end zone, getting over 100 yards a game, getting his grabs.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
he's good. Let's keep it up for the rest of the season.
Yes, exactly. He's got Washington coming up. I think he's gonna light up the scoreboard, man. I could see him pushing 30 in the next game against Washington.
I would appreciate that.
Yeah, I think he's due for at least a touchdown. 150 plus yards. Eight plus grabs. So yeah, he's going to be solid. Fantastic, man. I remember watching him in that Ohio State Rose Bowl, the bowl game a couple of years ago, and he looked fantastic. He got I think like 200 plus yards,
Yeah.
maybe 3 touchdowns. I remember looking at him thinking, who's this Jackson guy, and then I
Hmm.
just had my eye on him ever since and drafted him. I think it was either last year or the year before his rookie year, and he was obviously the third man on the totem pole behind DK and Lockett, and then
Yep.
towards the end of the season they ended up I think after the bye, they started tossing the ball his way, and he had a couple of fantastic games towards the end of the season. I think it was last year. And so now with DK being dealt to the Steelers, and then Lockett, I think he just got signed to the Raiders today or something like that. So
Yep.
yeah, he
Yep.
did a stint in Tennessee, and things didn't quite work out there. But anyway,
Yeah.
this is Jackson's show. Even though they have Cooper Cup there, this is the guy that Sam Darnold loves to feed. So,
Yeah. That's for sure, man. This is his Justin Jefferson.
hmm
Um, we'll just keep seeing this. It's an interesting point that you made too, though. Like some of those guys that were standouts in college
Yep.
that are rookies this year. Some of the, like this is exactly what Seattle did last year. Is they said, well, let's take a look. Let's see if he really can be our guy.
Yeah.
The second half of the season, and then they got rid of DK. They got rid of Lockett. So
hmm
like there could be some other guys. Like that's something we ought to probably keep our eye on here for the
Yeah.
rest of the season.
Yeah, that's right. And so, yeah, he's locked in, matchup proof. He's good to go from here on out. I think 20 is his floor, and then just goes on up from there. So yeah,
Yep.
just I mean, and what's great about this, Craig, is that we didn't draft him in the first or second round. We got him
No, man.
maybe
Yeah.
four, maybe even fifth round, something like that. So
Yeah. For sure.
yeah, he
Yep.
was, based upon the the price we paid for him, we're getting top 10 guy for the price of a third or fourth round draft pick. So,
Yep.
yep,
Yep.
great pick.
100%.
And then Pickens, man, I think
Yeah.
we're both happy about Pickens.
Yeah. We both are, man. Like he's been solid. He's been you know looking his best. He looks at the top of
Yeah.
his game.
Uh huh.
We saw glimmers of hope for him in Pittsburgh, but ever since he came here, we knew that he had
Yeah.
Justin Fields throwing to him. He had Kenny Pickett throwing to him.
hmm
He just never had that good quarterback. When Russell Wilson came in last year and actually threw to him, he looked pretty good.
Yes.
Now he's got Dak throwing, man, and he's just killing it, dude. He's
Yeah.
he's solid.
Yeah, he's on, man. Especially when CeeDee Lamb went out hurt. He picked up and just blew up, man. 33
Yeah,
point game, 32-point game. He stepped right into CeeDee Lamb's shoes and carried the mail, man. He looked fantastic, and he's still got it going, man. Even in these past two games with CeeDee back, he's still producing in the high teens, middle
yeah,
teens. So.
yeah,
Yeah, he's a fantastic receiver. You're right, brother. We saw glimpses of him when he was playing for Pittsburgh. I remember thinking, this guy's good. I ended up picking up in a couple of our fantasy leagues, trying to make that playoff push last year, and being happy with him. So
yeah,
he's good. And I
yep,
think Jerry's is trying to, because he's only on a 1 year deal right now. So I think Jerry's trying to figure out what he's got to do to sign him to a contract extension in Dallas. So.
yeah. Well, lock him up.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully he can get him, locked up through 2030 or something like that. But yeah, he's a fantastic receiver, brother.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep, I think he was, he's right up there. When you look at his season long, fantasy points, he's right up there in that top 8 or something like that. He's looking good.
Yeah,
So let's move on to tight ends. The Laporta potty. Didn't really do that great on his last game. Had a bye this past week, but he's had some spike weeks, man. 20, 16, 13. He's had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 duds and 3 solids. And so considering how barren the tight end market is, I think this guy's set up for success.
yeah. I would like to see him shave that mustache and get serious about shit.
Yeah.
Like let's
Right.
let's get clued in, brother. We
Uh
need
huh.
we need double digits every week out of this guy. Like he
Yeah.
showed that he could do it in the rookie season he had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've been expecting it ever since.
Right.
Showing glimmers of hope here, but get it together, Laporta.
Yeah. Exactly, man. Yeah. Get your
You
game
know,
face on. It's
that's right.
time to rock and roll, man.
Yep,
All right. Other tight ends. Tyler Warren, man. You struck
dude.
gold with this, brother.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes. Super happy with this guy. I mean, obviously that whole Colts offense, like nobody saw that shit really coming, but
Yeah.
he's been a benefactor of that. But dude, super happy with this one.
Yep.
We'll keep riding this.
Yeah,
Seems like the next up and comer.
oh yeah, yeah. Because like last year, I ended up grabbing Bowers in two of my leagues in the
Yeah,
draft, and so I had success drafting a rookie tight end. I was all set up to grab him in my neighborhood league, but the guy right before me in the draft ended up grabbing Warren when it was my pick, and
yeah,
so tight ends went kind of quick. I think it was like the sixth or seventh round, and then anyway, he got scooped, and so I ended up going with Loveland, and that didn't work out. But anyway, yeah, I
no,
was all set to grab him, but man, he's done great. Yeah,
yep. Super happy I drafted him.
yep. I think him and Fergie are going neck and neck. Right there with McBride. I think the three of them are,
Yeah,
a whole the elites of the tight end market. Even with Bowers, man, I think he hurt his knee, and so his season is just really tanked.
yeah,
So I think a lot of people drafted Bowers like in the second round or something like that, and that's coming back to bite him in the ass. But yeah, Tyler Warren, man, just being a part of that Colts offense. You just want pieces of that Colts offense with Indiana
sure do.
Jones and JT and
Yep,
this guy, man. Yeah, they're rolling, brother.
yeah, absolutely.
What are they like 7-1 or something like that, or six
Yeah,
and
dude.
one? I don't know if they had a bye. I guess no bye yet, but yeah, think they won all their
Yeah.
games except for one. They only lost one game to the Rams.
I mean, that's a good squad, dude. That came out of nowhere too. I think that's why everybody's just,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
not refusing to believe it, but shocked by it for sure. Like this just came
Exactly.
out of nowhere.
And they played some good defenses too, like the Denver
Yeah,
defense. They lost to the Rams, but they beat the Chargers. I mean, Arizona, I guess. Whatever. But they got Pittsburgh next, and then Atlanta. I think they can win both of those. So yeah, they're
yeah,
rolling, brother.
yep.
Time to believe in Indy.
It is. Yeah, it's like 7-1.
Yep. All right, let's see who
Yeah.
else we're happy about. So JJ McCarthy. So this is the not happy list, and so
Okay.
I'm not happy that I drafted JJ McCarthy. Ended up doing good in week one, and then week two he finished the game, but looked miserable. Ended up getting the what did you call it earlier? The high ankle sprain, and
Yeah.
so yeah, just been sitting on the sidelines. It just seems like coach is just not confident enough in him. I think that's why he left Carson Wentz in there, even with a bum shoulder, a bum wing, and you know, we'll see though. We'll see if he can turn it on. But I ended up pulling the plug on him because I found Sam Darnold in that
Yeah.
two quarterback
Yeah.
league. So
Yeah. I mean, if you spend a draft pick on this guy and that's what you got, of course
yeah,
you're disappointed.
yep,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right,
Yeah.
so let's move on. You're disappointed about Joe, huh, Craig?
Yeah. Yeah. It sucks that I'm disappointed about Joe, but
Yeah.
you know, the one full game he gave me was not very good.
Hmm.
And then he went out against Jacksonville and has been, out for the foreseeable future. And I went high on him, dude. I picked 11th or 12th in every single draft, and
Yeah.
I just wanted him on one of my squads. I kind of figured this might be like a 50 TD season for him, and
Right.
that ain't gonna happen.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I, I wish I would have been smarter on that pick.
Yeah, Craig, I was looking at the Bengals and the division they play in, and the Ravens only have 2 wins.
Hmm.
The
Yeah,
Steelers have, I think they're 4-3 now, and
they
so,
are.
but the Bengals are 3-4. Or three
Yep.
and five or something like that. Anyway, they're within a game or two. And I looked at the Bengals' divisional record, and they've won every game in their division. So I think they're 2-0 in their division because they beat the Cleveland and they beat the Steelers. And so I think that the Bengals, if they can just keep winning, I think they've got let's see, they got Chicago. They just beat Chicago. I'm sorry, and then. Or no, I'm sorry. Yeah, they just lost to the Jets. Anyway, they got Chicago
Yeah.
next, and then they've got a bye, and they got Pittsburgh. So if they can beat Chicago and Pittsburgh, I think they have a chance of winning their division somehow. With
Yeah.
you know, and so the reason why I'm bringing that up and it's relevant is because Joe is looking to come back mid-December. So this might be a guy. If you have an IR spot and you're just not using it,
Yeah.
This might be a guy to stash on the IR. I would wait to see how, if they beat Chicago and they beat Pittsburgh, and if they have a
Right.
legit shot, I think they're going to bring Joe back. Mid-December. Let's just say that second week or third week of December. Then if they're in contention to make the playoffs and win their division, I think Joe could be a. They got a pretty nice playoff schedule too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yep.
but
Plan ahead.
I agree that we're upset about drafting him, but there still might be brighter days ahead for him.
Agreed. I mean, still Joe Burrow.
Yeah, exactly. So only
Yeah.
5% rostered. So, or I'm sorry,
Yeah.
57% rostered. So, all right, next up, Jaden Daniels. Man, I'm pissed at myself for drafting him. Ended up picking him up in the draft. I think I drafted him like in like the third round or something like that. Because he has such a fantastic rookie season. And
Hmm.
he just ended up missing 2 games, and then ended up missing the game tonight. So he's already lost 3, or already out 3 games, and then the games he has played in, he's been okay. Not,
I'll take that. I
yeah,
don't know.
he's been
Yeah.
okay, but in the league that I drafted him in, I've also got Stafford. I picked Stafford up off the waiver wire, and so man, I'm just
Nice.
rolling with Stafford because Stafford's got 17 touchdowns on the season, and so I think Stafford I feel more comfortable in as a starter because he doesn't seem to get hurt like Jaden does, and he's got Puka to throw to. He's also got uh, Devontae Adams to throw to. So anyway,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
I'm not happy
I
about
don't know.
drafting him. So
Yeah.
all right, who
Cool.
else we got? Tua. Tell me about Tua, brother.
Yeah, man. This is one I drafted. You might have a higher point scoring stat line up here than what I got in my league, but
Yeah,
I think I rolled with him in week one. I was like, this guy ain't it,
right.
it was just gonna be my second quarterback in my league, and so I ended up just ditching him. But he's been fairly inconsistent. He
Yeah.
got pretty lucky playing him this last week, and he went off. But
Hmm.
other than that, I just when you look at the stat line, it doesn't look too bad, but he's not been good this
Yeah,
year.
yeah, exactly. All those ints, man. He threw 3 interceptions in week 7, 3 interceptions in week 6. And
Yeah,
yeah, just hasn't looked like a great quarterback. But I think that he,
yeah,
he he was like Fields. His back was against the wall, and he had to perform or potentially get benched. And so
yeah,
he ended up performing just like Fields did, yesterday.
yeah. That's right. Yeah, it was Dolphins that put the whooping on the
Yep.
Falcons this last week. Yeah,
Yeah. So not happy about drafting him, but he could be okay because he's got the Ravens next, and then Washington coming up, Buffalo. So I think it might be all right. But yeah, all right. Let's see who else we got. Chase Brown. I'm unhappy about drafting him, even though he just scored 25 fantasy points.
yeah.
I mean, Craig, I had drafted him as I think like in the third round. After he had
Right.
such a promising season last year, and this is just a
You should,
product of Joe Burrow being out and then
yeah,
facing all these tough defenses. Man, he faced
yeah, yeah,
Cleveland, Jacksonville, Detroit, Denver, Green Bay, and so he's gone through the meat grinder of of his early season, but I think the rest of the season ends up looking pretty good. So I've paid my dues, but I'm hoping there's brighter days ahead for him.
yeah, yeah. His last two games right there with Falco.
Hmm.
He's looking a little bit better. So yeah, this thing might be getting back on track and kind of open up a little bit for you.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
But unhappy about the draft capital
sure.
that I
Yeah,
spent on him as a third round draft pick. So
yeah,
all right, let's see who else. Ashton Jeanty, man, I'm just not happy about this guy, brother. Same thing, man. I ended up drafting him. I think at the tail end, I think it was like another league where I had either 11th or 12th draft pick,
yeah.
in the first round, and so I went with Jeanty, and then I forget who my other one. I think it was Puka. So Puka, I'm happy with, but Jeanty, man, I could have got JT, Justin,
Right.
Taylor,
Yeah,
but ended up going with this guy, taking a shot on a rookie on a terrible offense with a terrible offensive line. I mean, he had one good game against the Bears, but the rest of it's just been pedestrian or single digit Sam. I mean,
yeah.
nothing I'm happy about, brother.
I'm with you, brother. If I had a chance to do it over again, and yeah, but all my teams would have
J-
Puka and,
yeah,
and JT on it.
JT. Yep, Exactly. Live and learn, man. So now I
Yep.
know. Don't take a chance. Even if he, even though he had the great resume, at Boise State, a hell of a lot of
Right.
touchdowns, a great running back. But just you got to pay attention to his situation and the offensive line and the quarterback and all that. So
Yeah, I'll bet you next year this guy's going to get drafted in the seventh round and be a freaking killer,
yeah,
you know,
right. Hmm.
and just kill it. So, yeah, it's just a year too early, brother.
Yep, exactly. Too early.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Next up, Bill. Tell me about Bill.
Yeah, I don't like this guy.
Nah. Yeah.
There ain't nothing to like, dude. There
Hmm.
ain't nothing to like. I am as fast as I possibly can replacing him.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's still had to make it in my lineup. This is on one of those teams that's just doomed. Like, there's just nothing I can do.
Uh
Put in
huh.
the corner, had every damn one of my starters go down with injury. So
Yep.
here I am scrapping the waiver wire and trying to find losers to throw in my lineup, and he's one of them.
Right.
So
Yeah.
but he actually got a draft pick out of me, but
Uh huh. Yeah.
you know,
Seventh round draft
he,
pick.
yeah,
In the NFL. Yeah.
yeah, probably about the seventh round when I grabbed him too, and
There
he's
you
just
go. Okay. Yeah.
not good.
Whiffed on him. He had a great game against the Chargers, but pretty good game against the Giants. Okay against Vegas, but the rest of them, single digit
Yeah,
Sam. Yeah. Nothing good. Got KC
even against the
coming up.
Cowboys, brother.
Or
Even
no.
against the Cowboys defense, the dude still put up 4.2.
420. Yeah. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Look elsewhere than going with Bill. All right.
Yep.
Travion, tell me about him, brother.
Yeah. Same thing, man. Like this dude was, damn good college running back,
Mm-hmm.
and
Ohio State.
looked like he had a good shot to come in here and win that job, and he won it in the
Yeah.
preseason.
Him and
And
Judkins. Those are the
yeah,
guys.
yeah. And Judkins looked good. This dude,
Yeah.
I want my money back.
Yep. 78% rostered. So, yeah. I think
Yeah,
11% have decided to look elsewhere and dumped him. You know,
that's right, man. That's right.
let's see. He's got one, two, three, four, six single digit Sam games. And, but I think he actually did pretty good again. Well, I guess he's got week 9 coming up. So we'll see. Yeah.
I mean, Stevens is always good, and I guess I just don't like him
Yeah.
in New England. Like
Hmm.
that's just what I'm concluding here. They just don't like this guy.
Right. Yeah.
I
We'd
don't,
all
I don't know if he's a dick in the locker room or what, but he's just
right. Yeah.
they don't like him,
Hmm.
so I don't like him.
Yeah. Yeah. What can you do?
Yep.
All right. Next up, Jerry Judy. Man, I'm not happy about drafting him, brother. I mean,
Nothing to like.
yeah, I didn't like the draft capital. I think I dropped him like the 10th round or something like that. But man, yeah,
Yeah.
just not happy, dude. He got 0 points yesterday. Um, I ended up actually dropping him in one of my leagues because I went with that one dude Tez from the Bucks. So
Yeah.
I dropped him for Tez, but I sat there with him just sitting on my bench, not using him for all these weeks when he was single digit Sam in it. So
Yeah.
yeah, not happy.
Yep.
All right, next up, neighbors, man. Obviously, what happened there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it has nothing to do really with him.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
had a damn good game against Dallas, and then just got hurt, and
Yeah.
like,
What can you do?
yeah. This is just that team. Like
Hmm.
Burrow went down, Neighbors went down, Marion Hampton went down, somebody else go down. Like it's just
Yeah. Cursed.
yeah, absolutely cursed.
Yep.
My top 4 picks injured.
Hmm. Oh,
So,
wow.
and he was one of them. So I took him instead of Puka. I took him instead of like JT. I took him
Hmm.
instead of a lot of people that I'd be much happier with.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Bad luck. That's all you can
yep,
do.
yeah,
All right. Well, who else we got? Jameson. Yeah. So I think you and I, we both have him on our list of guys that we're disappointed in. So,
yeah, yeah. He's about to be on somebody else's waiver wire list because
hmm,
I
yep.
don't have a use for this guy, man. Like you don't know when to play him.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
You
let's
know,
see. He did good against Chicago, terrible defense, and then he did good against a fantastic defense, the Chiefs.
right?
So you
Yeah,
don't know when to pick him
yeah.
or when to play him.
But
You know.
I'd rather just put him out there on the waiver wire, let somebody else make
Hmm.
the good or bad choices. So
Yeah, he's one of those guys, Craig, that I thought could have a breakout season. I had him and Jackson on that list, and then Pickens. Those were the three that I thought could break out. And so we got
yeah,
2 out of 3.
Yeah, we had two
Yep.
out of three. Dude, this guy needs another team, man. He just needs to get off the Lions.
Yeah.
You know, like if he went somewhere else, he might be able to do better, but
Right.
he ain't gonna do it on the Lions.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. If he had a team where he was a true number one, he would be great.
Yep.
Just like Pickens was, to get out of Steelers. Doing
Yeah.
all right, worthy. And so I don't know. Is he worthy of a draft pick? I don't know, brother.
Well, definitely not, man.
Yeah.
Again,
Hmm.
that same damn team
Hmm.
went out in week one, first series of the game.
Yeah.
Got hurt, and so I didn't have him for 3 weeks, and then he came back, looked okay, and he's just nah,
Yeah.
nah. Too many receivers, too many balls going around in that offense where this guy ain't worthy of much of a roster spot, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
I wonder how he did tonight. Let's see. So I had him in one of my leagues. I didn't play him. I have him sitting on the bench because I
I think
played.
he got me like 7, but this is a league where I get a half a point for
Okay.
reception. So
Gotcha.
7 to 10, something like that.
Hmm. Yeah. In
It
my
looked like he
yeah.
he could have had a touchdown, but Pat missed him.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's
Yeah, in my I got a half point PPR as well, Craig, and he got 8.6 points is what he
yeah,
8.3, and so they actually award first downs, and so he got a little bit little money from getting the first down, but 5 for 53 on 7 targets. So yeah, he pissed away a golden opportunity. While
yeah,
while,
dude.
while Chase was I mean I'm sorry, not Chase. While Rice
Rice,
was out for 6 games, he was supposed to carry the mail and
yeah,
deliver and be somebody we could count on as their number one. But he ends up hurting his shoulder by that Kelsey ended up banging him on accident supposedly week one,
yeah,
and then just pissed away that opportunity.
yeah. He sure did, man.
Yeah. So not
Yeah.
happy. Now that
So goes his career.
yeah, exactly. And so now that Rice is back, he's hogging up all the targets just like he should. And so this is
Yep,
Rice's team. And so
yep,
Xavier's a distant second.
yeah,
All right, Loveland, man. This is the guy I was talking
yeah,
about earlier. When your guy, the long hair dude, was it Taylor? Is that his name? Yeah,
yeah. I know Warren,
Warren. That's it, Warren.
Tyler Warren. Yeah,
Tyler Warren. Yeah. So I should have
yeah.
gone Tyler Warren, but I blew it and drafted this guy instead. So yeah, no good.
This is not good.
Nope, no good.
Yeah, just move on. Just
Yeah,
move on.
exactly. Kittle. I'm upset that I drafted him. He had a pretty good game week 8 on National Tight Ends Day. He only saw
Yeah,
5 targets, caught 4 of them for 43 and a tutty. So there are brighter days ahead for him. He had a good
yeah.
game week 1, good game week 8. But man, like weeks 2 through 7, games that I needed a tight end. Where was he? Sitting in the locker room. Upset. I mean, he gave me a 0 in the first game back against Atlanta. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm just not happy about the draft capital that I spent on
No,
him.
I agree, man. I agree. I wouldn't be happy with it either.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah.
So I think that's it, brother. That's all we had left
Cool.
for tight ends or for players that we're not happy
Yeah.
we drafted.
Yeah. Well,
So
cool. Well, there it is.
that's
A little
it, brother.
extended session,
Yep.
but here we go.
Yep. Yeah, that's
Second
right.
half of the season,
Hmm.
push for the playoffs.
Yep.
You know, let's go get ourselves some good guys.
Yes, exactly. So we already laid out the great guys to come get on your waiver wire. So we got week 9 coming up, and so yeah, now's the time to put your game face on. We got make that playoff
Yep,
run, brother.
that's right.
So all right,
Cool. All
looking
right, brother.
great.
Well, good luck out there.
All right, good luck this week with all your fantasy leagues, and we'll be back next Monday night, brother.
Cool.
All right,
See ya.
peace.